Hi, I'm Mark. Um, you may know me as, I don't know, Markovian, parallax, denigrate, Mark, uh, MPD. God, there's just like an ever-expanding list of nicknames for me. But welcome to my studio tour, and I hope this isn't going to be a giant pain in the ass, because so far I've had like 3 cameras fail. But yeah, hopefully this will be the one. But anyways, this is the main room that most of you know as my studio. There's gonna be a couple other rooms that we're gonna go to, but this is like the one that I do most of my recording in. I'm not gonna touch on everything because there is just so much shit in here, but I'm gonna try to like show off a few main areas and talk about some gear that is particularly interesting to me, or like has some kind of story behind it. So hopefully this is like semi-interesting and not just like rambling for 40 minutes. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, let's get right into it. What you're hearing right now is my Moog Matriarch. This thing is basically my modular system in a box. I don't have like a proper modular, but it's pretty damn complex as it is. As you can hear, there's like a very nice drone going on right now, and it's had an interesting life with me thus far. I got it in like October, and as soon as I got it home, it fell off of my keyboard stand. I had it on one of these 3 tiers right here, and I had it on the second tier, and there was 3 other big synths on there, and it collapsed, and of course that was the one that fell. Luckily, Moog was very good to me. I just called them up, and I was like, please fix this for me, and they were like, we'll just call it a warranty item. So that was really cool of them. I ended up getting to drive down to Asheville, where the Moog plant is, and my significant other lives down there right in Asheville, like 15 minutes from the plant. So I was able to go see her and drop this off and sort of make it a nice little weekend trip. It was very, very cool. But it's just going to be droning through this whole video, and I'm just going to play these synths over it. And hopefully that'll make up for the lack of, like background music or anything, and hopefully it's not too overbearing or whatever. But so yeah, that's that. Up here we have my Korg DW6000. Man, this is an awesome synth for like not very much money. It was like a few $100. These are looked down upon pretty heavily just because they don't feel very good, and there's not a lot of like surface controls or anything. It functions very similarly to a Korg Poly 800. We'll come back to that in just a second, because I want to talk about the Poly 800. So yeah, I'm gonna move the camera and we'll cut right back. Okay, so this right here is the Korg Poly 800. Man, what an awesome synth for still not very much money. It was, if I remember correctly, Korg's first like fully fledged professional synth under $1,000. I think they retailed for like $700, and you can still find them for like $400 or something. They're awesome for very cheap. I've heard a lot of people say that this is the worst keybed I've ever felt in my life. Those people are just dramatic. This is an awesome synth that should not be held back by the fact that it feels like plastic. And so we're just gonna bring it in a little bit. Awesome sound. Great little actually analog synth. It is held back somewhat by its it's called like matrix programming. Basically, there's parameters in there, and you just have to put it into parameter mode, and then select a parameter, and then there's buttons for up and down on that parameter, which is pretty slow and clunky, but I think as a studio tool, it's really good. They're pretty easy to modify too. I actually have another one of these not here, but it's at my friend's house. And it's modified so that the filter cutoff and the reso are right on a pot, and it's super easy to do. You see a lot of those, and I really think that these are great for very cheap. So if you want like that vintage, like kind of 80s Korg analog thing, this is a great option. This one's the Mark II. Pretty much no different. It just fixes like a little bit of a MIDI glitch. Other stuff over here. This is my TR-626. I kind of use it in kind of a bastardized way. It I hate the sequencer on it, so I never use it. I plug it into my TR-6S drum machine, and I just let that one do all the controlling, and I just harvest the sounds off of it. The snare drum sound particularly is just awesome. It's like perfect for what I want to be doing with it. Other notable stuff. This is the Alpha Juno 1. This thing is awesome. It was I paid next to nothing for it. My friend just sent me a Facebook Marketplace listing and was like, "Hey, and go get this." And I drove like 3 hours away to go and get this thing, and I'm glad that I did because, man, it's like brand new, and it just sounds awesome. All right. Other notable stuff in the area. This is the big mixer. This mixer takes pretty much all of my synths in here. The drum machines go through this mixer here, but this takes everything. And there is another mixer over on that side of the room that takes some other stuff that I just ran out of channels for, and also I don't want to run cables all the way from that side of the room to this side. So rather than running 10 cables, I just put it into a mixer over there, and the mains from that mixer come into the last 2 channels on this one. Yeah, that's about it for over here. I'm gonna move the camera, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. All right, back once again. So over here we have quite a bit of stuff. Like I said earlier, I do have stuff that goes into this mixer here, and this mixer's mains some down into that mixer right there. I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. Okay, cool. Is it gonna work? Seems mostly balanced. All right, cool. So this side of the room, we have this other mixer here. Like I said before, I didn't want to run 10 cables all the way to the other side of the room, so just plugged everything into here, and then the 2 mains from that go to the big mixer. Lots of cool stuff over here. First, let's look at the Moog Rogue. Yeah, that's awesome, right? Just a lovely sounding instrument. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this thing because it doesn't stay in tune very well, but it sounds awesome, so I just cannot bring myself to get rid of it. Lovely thing, though. All right, let's talk about this one. This guy here is the first synth I ever had. Actually, this is not the same one, but I won't really go into that. Basically, my high school had one, and I convinced my band director to let me take it home, and ever since then I've been kind of obsessed with synths. But this thing sounds absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, just absolutely lovely. Super basic synth. I mean, it doesn't have a lot going on, but as a string machine, it's just completely just gorgeous. I love that thing. It's a Korg Delta. I didn't say that, but yeah. This thing, I won't really go too much into it, but it's a cool little divide down organ. Let's see how that's gonna sound against this. Hopefully not too jarring. I bought it thinking it was some kind of organ thing, but obviously it sounds a little bit more like a polysynth. It's what they call a divide down organ. There's 12 analog oscillators in there, and they're divided down into each separate octave of each note. Great little thing, and yeah, super unique. Okay, over here. Man, this thing is awesome. This is my Juno 106. It's been a giant pain in the ass. I bought this thing as fully functional, and by the time I got it fixed, I was not able to get my money back. It was super fucked. It was definitely not fully functional. The entire memory section's been replaced. It has all new chips, all new filters. But now that it's all said and done, man, yeah, just absolutely, just a lovely thing. Yeah, just super lush and really gorgeous sounding. As you can probably tell, I really like lush sounding synths. I love stuff that sounds just absolutely huge. But I'm gonna just sort of move around the room a little bit and point at some other stuff, and then we'll go on to the next room. Yeah. So this is sort of the main control area, I guess. Just all my rack stuff. I have a couple of interfaces here, a rack synth, my two MIDI verbs. Those are a great little rack effect unit. They were at some kind of little music store down in Indianapolis. I went in there just completely random one time and picked one up, and I had no idea what it was. I didn't know anything about like rack stuff really, and so I just grabbed it. It was like I don't know, it was super cheap. I can't remember exactly what it cost, but it wasn't much, and so I grabbed it just on a whim, and I brought it home, and I later realized that, wow, these are kind of like a pretty legendary rack unit. And then he had two, and so I went back a year later, just hoping that maybe that one would still be there, and it was, and so I bought it, and now I have both of them, and they're both great. I love them. This is my tape recorder, my master like cassette recorder. I do a decent amount of recording to tape. It's a nice medium for taking really lush sounds and kind of compressing them down a little bit more so they don't eat up so much of the mix. And that tape saturation just sounds lovely. This is a TX C3. There is a Tascam model of this, but really the only difference is just it has different like outputs on the back. Yeah, so this is this little area. A bunch of rack stuff and my computer and stuff. My Model 12. Yeah, that's about it in this area. All right, we'll talk about this now. This is my little analog video setup. I've got a few video mixers and video enhancers here. None of them are bent yet. I plan on bending this one. This is like a SEMA one. It has some trim pots on the inside, and my friend and fellow pirate Crushing Depths told me he has one that's similar that he modified to have the trim pots work on the outside. So that's a super easy bend that I'm gonna do to that one. my Commodore 64 monitor. This is my Macintosh SE. I need to fix that. It did work when I bought it, and then I got it home and it stopped working, so I have to figure that out. But yeah. And then just my closet where I store all my stuff, my Omni cord, all my cameras down here, some tape recorders, more cameras, yeah, just that sort of stuff. My bass that I'm using to record right now, this is a Roland GR77. It was made to be used with a synthesizer, but it's pretty strange just on its own. As a just a bass guitar, it's actually pretty like solid. It's like actually a really good bass. Yeah, I love that thing. It's super weird. My saxophone's over here. This is a saxophone I thrifted. I'm gonna try to teach myself saxophone repair and fix it and get it working. That'll be super cool. Yeah, so that is about it in here. We're gonna go out to the next room, and that'll be that. All right, so this is the band area. This is where my band practices. It's just sort of full of pedal boards and amps and drum kits and stuff. It's a pretty big space, but yeah, we've made a lot of music out here. Yeah, we do spend quite a bit of time in here, and so I've kind of just decorated the place with stuff that I like. Stuff that's nice to look at. Lots of just like random posters and shit, and like old like adverts from the 60s, and I got this like poster down. You can't see it, but like this fucking sign poster down there. It's signed by the Reservoir Dogs cast, and this like Rickenbacker ad. Yeah, just lots of random stuff. But yeah, not much to say about this room. Kind of just is what it is. Practice space. Yeah. All right, same room, just different angle. Standing over there before, but I'm standing here now. Yeah, so this is kind of a cool thing. This is an old Marilla from the 50s. Somebody just gave this to me, which is really cool. It's something I don't use too much, but I don't think I would ever want to part with, just because it is so cool, and I mean it just sounds lovely. So one day I'd like to get good at mallets and really give it a reason to be here. But more importantly, over here is my Hammond. Now this thing is great. It's kind of a piece of shit, but I love it. I found it on the side of the road, broken, and it was the weirdest interaction I've ever had with anybody. I knocked on these people's door because, and I shouldn't have even done that. I should have just put it in the back of my vehicle and left. But it was out by the road for the trash. And so I knocked on these people's doors, and I'm like, hey, is that old organ, are you throwing it away? Do you want it? And they were like, well, I don't know why anybody would want that. And I'm like, okay, but can I have it? And they're just like, well, I don't know why you want it. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm a musician, and I kind of just like weird stuff, and these Hammond organs, they have like a really, particular sound to them, and they have like a drum machine in them and stuff. And they were like, well, it's been sitting outside for 3 days. It probably doesn't work. And I'm like, if it doesn't work, I got a dumpster at home. I can throw it in the dumpster and be done with it. And they were like, well, the cord's cut on it. You can't even plug it in. So why would you even take it? And I'm like, well, I can put a new plug on it. That doesn't take very long. And they were like, well, I don't know why you want it. And I'm like, can I take it or not? And they just, I don't know, they were just very strange. In the end, they were like, yeah, go ahead and take it, like, we don't want it. But it was just sort of a really strange interaction. But I managed to get some help and lug it in the back of the Chevy Tahoe that I was driving at the time. And it sat in the Tahoe for like 6 months because nobody wanted to help me move it. And then it sat in my garage for like 6 months because nobody wanted to help me move it. And then I finally brought it down here with the help of my brother, and it just that's where it sits. I can't really show you how it sounds because it is a noisy pain in the ass, and if I plugged it in, it would just cause all sorts of issues. But I have used it on a lot of my stuff. If you listen to the beginning of, I have this song called Introspection. It's the first song off of my most recent record. There's a little sort of very analog-y drum machine sound, and that's from this. It's it's from the drum machine in this, and I've used that quite a few times. It's another song I have called "What Was I Doing Again?" Uses the same drum machine. The organ sounds I've used on a bunch of stuff. There's a song that I put out recently called "The Trees." I put out a video for it too. All that organ sound came from this. Even the bass notes on that song came from the bass section in this. This thing is a giant piece of crap, but I've used it so much, and it's a wonder that it even works anymore. One last thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, before I get to that, this thing right here is the synth that goes with that Roland bass in there. Here, hold on, I'm gonna set this down and pick it up. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that thing's an ongoing project as well. But here's this. This is a recent addition. I don't play a lot of guitar, but recently I've been getting into it because I've been recording my own stuff, and I've been wanting to put guitar in that, and rather than try to rely on anybody else, I just wanted to do it myself. And so I went out and I bought a guitar, and I wanted something that was... Well, I like old stuff, so I wanted something vintage, and I love me some Fenders, but I didn't want just a Strat or something. And I walked into a store, and I found this thing, and I already have a Music Master bass, and so this thing just immediately spoke to me. It is a 66 Fender Music Master. I think the neck's from 65 or something. We took the neck off and looked at the date codes, and one part of it's from late in 65, and one part of it's early 66. And it's kind of a Frankenstein guitar. It's a refinish, but it's really, really nicely done refinish, and really old refinish. The finish has started to crack really nicely, and that was the only reason I was able to afford it, is because it was a refinish, which, hey, I don't care about that. It still looks great, and it was significantly cheaper than it would normally be, which was great for me. It has 2 pickups in it instead of 1, which is strange for a Music Master, and it has the Mustang style switching, so it is similar to a Duosonic or a Mustang, but yeah, just slightly different. It's some kind of strange in between a Duosonic, a Mustang, and a Music Master 2. Love that thing. Gonna be doing some more stuff with guitar on it soon, and I think that's about all. I'm probably gonna maybe do a little walk around with the camera, just skim through some stuff and let the drone play us out, and thanks.